Abhishek, pa ćemo onda imati. To ti njemu objasni. Halbol? Hare Krishna? Noch nicht. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana 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 Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radhika Giridhari Radhika Giridhari Radhika Giridhari Shri Radhe Giridhari Radhika Giridhari Radhika Giridhari Shri Radha Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radhe Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radha Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
now we will have hear from our dear Narahari Mataji. Dearest Narahari Mataji. Some sweet katha. And Nanimuki also coming?
No, then Atmaram.
Okay.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Jai Srimati Radharani ki Jai. Jai Radhe Radhe. So, today is very auspicious day of Radhastami, when today Srimati Radharani appeared. And she, because Krishna was appearing in this world, so Srimati Radharani said that, how can I live alone? So Krishna said, you will appear as a daughter of Vrishabhanu and Kirtida. So in Raval, King Vrishabhanu was going for a bath in Yamuna, and there appeared a very beautiful lotus flower with thousands of petals, and in the lotus flower was a beautiful young baby girl. And Vrishabhanu was so stunned by seeing the beauty of this beautiful baby girl, and he was just standing there and watching. And then there was a message came from the sky that, King Vrishabhanu, please, this small baby girl is going to be your daughter, so please take her. So Vrishabhanu took the baby girl, and he brought to Kirtida Mataji. And Kirtida Mataji was also very much pleased, and she was so happy to receive this beautiful baby girl who has beauty, unlimited beauty, but Srimati Radharani did not open her eyes. So parents were worried that the girl, so beautiful girl we received, and now she cannot see. She's like blind girl. So then people came to have darshan of Srimati Radharani. So then came Mother Yashoda and Nand Baba and small baby Krishna to visit Vrishabhanu and Mata Kirtida, and to have to see the small baby girl. So when they came, they were received and given seat, and in Vrindavan, and this is very custom that when the visitor come, they give them chash, which is churned by one Kirtida Mataji, churn and butter and then chash. This chash, if you drink, we were last time in Vrindavan, and one of the Brajbasis invite us, and if you drink this chash, it's so tasty, and you cannot compare. And this chash, one big glass is satisfying you for a whole day, It's such a tasty and pure, and everything is so pure, yogurt. And so then they were talking, and then Krishna, baby Krishna, he just crawled slowly and came to the cradle where Radharani was sleeping. And he caught the hold of the cradle, and he stood up, and he saw Radharani. And immediately Srimati Radharani understood that Krishna is here, and she opened her eyes. Because she didn't want to see anything else first. First she wanted to have darshan of Krishna. So that's why she didn't open her eyes. So then the parents were very happy to see Radharani open her eyes and she could see everything. So, so this is very special pastimes, how Mother Kirtida was very pleased to have beautiful baby Radharani. And this is how Mother Radharani appeared. And so there are many pastimes has taken place in Vrindavan, and how Srimati Radharani was performing different pastimes with Krishna. And there is very nice story at village called Chikashula Gram. This village is where Krishna Kunda is there. And this Krishna Kunda is very famous in this gram, in this small village. And Krishna and his friends used to come here to steal butter, yogurt, and to perform many pastimes. So there was one gopi, and she prepared nice butter and yogurt and kept everything ready. And she went to fetch water. And Krishna and the Gopas came from other side of the house, and they entered the house. And the gopi, somehow she understood that Krishna and the friends went in her house, so she slowly came and locked the door. And the Gopas and Krishna were in the house. And because she wanted, Mother Yashoda would never believe that Krishna is stealing butter, and so she thought, now I caught Krishna. And but Krishna and the Gopas escaped from the window, from the back side of the house. And but Mangal Maya, he is little chubby and round. He could not pass through the window, and he got stuck. And the gopi came and caught Mangal Maya, Madhu Mangal. And so then, but the Krishna escaped, and all the Gopas escaped. So Radharani and all the gopis, they came, because gopis called everybody, and so they came, and what they did is they took a rope and they tied the sikha of Madhu Mangal, and the other end they tied to a branch of the tree. And then they were pulling like this. And Madhu Mangal was going there and like this. It's like giving him punishment. You were with your friend Krishna and they disappeared, so now you call him. You call your friend for help. And so, Madhu Mangal, he started to cry. And he started to scream, Krishna, Krishna, please help me. So then Krishna immediately came. And he started to scold Radharani and Krishna. He said, what are you doing? This Madhu Mangal is not a cowherd boy. He's a son of Brahmana. And what you are doing to a son of Brahmana, this is offense. And he started to chastise them. And the gopis got so frightened, and they said, we are sorry, Krishna, but now what shall we do? How can we rectify this offense? And Krishna said, there is only one way. You have to make hundreds of laddus and offer to Madhu Mangal. Then you become free from this offense. So then the gopis went, and everybody makes so many laddus, and big plate of laddus was offered to Madhu Mangal. And then Madhu Mangal got so pleased, and satisfied. And then he asks, okay, gopis, you can have some blessings. What blessings should I give you? Because I am the son of Brahmana, I can give blessings. So the Srimati Radharani and all the gopis, they relieve their desire is to have Krishna as their husband. So Madhu Mangal blessed them that you can have these blessings. So such pastimes were performed in Rajadam, and very, very famous pastime, I think you all know, is about Raghunath Das Goswami. He, as a pure devotee, and he was always absorbed in chanting and remembering and Krishna, and he forgot even himself that around his surroundings, he could not have any, I would say, he was so absorbed that he didn't think around what's happening, and he was so meditative, and then Krishna was always protecting him. No? And one time at the bank of Yamuna, when Raghunath Das Goswami was meditating, tiger came to drink water, and so Krishna got worried that maybe tiger will disturb the meditation of Raghunath Das Goswami. So he was guarding. He was walking around and see that the tiger is not going to disturb the Goswami. And so then Sanatan Goswami was coming, and he saw these pastimes. And he was, one side he was very happy to see Krishna, but he was little bit, not angry, but concerned that Raghunath Das Goswami is engaging Krishna in his service like this. So Krishna saw Sanatan Goswami, and he gave a nice smile to him, and the tiger left, so Krishna just disappeared. So then Sanatan Goswami came to Raghunath Das Goswami and said, you are engaging Krishna to protect you. There was a tiger here, and so better you build a hut for you, that you don't have to engage Krishna like this. So then Raghunath Das Goswami, still he was too in meditation. He did not build any hut, and still he was doing meditation. And in India, when it is hot, it's really hot. You can, if you are middle of the day, if you are in sun, it's so hot, and the direct sun on your head, it's just intolerable. No? So Raghunath Das Goswami was meditating in this scorching heat in middle of mid-afternoon, like 12, 1 o'clock, and at this time the sun is the most hottest time, heat. And he was so in meditation, he didn't feel anything. But Srimati Radharani is so concerned for his devotees, so she came and she held her sari over the head of Raghunath Das Goswami, and she was standing for some time in scorching heat, and she was sweating. She was completely wet. And again Sanatan Goswami saw this, and this time he was really a little bit upset with Raghunath Das Goswami. And he said, Srimati Radharani has to serve you, And so he came and he said, now please. And then what happened is that Srimati Radharani saw Sanatana Goswami coming. So she gave him a big smile and she disappeared. And then Raghunath Das Goswami built a hut. So these are very nice pastimes, how Srimati Radharani serves pure devotee. And so one can really today is very take the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And because Srimati Radharani is the one who brings us to Krishna. And here there is very nice, what Prabhupada is saying. This is the lecture from Srila Prabhupada. So he's in one of Srila Prabhupada's Radhastami lectures, His Divine Grace explains that cultivating the Vrindavan mood means to seek the shelter of Srimati Radharani, without whose mercy we are unable to render any kind of devotional service. Therefore, in Vrindavan, you will see all devotees. They will address one another, Jai Radhe, still because they know that if Radharani is pleased, if I can please Radharani, Radharani is presented the original pleasure potency, always absorbed in thought of Krishna. So anyone who comes before Radharani to serve Krishna, oh, she becomes so pleased. Oh, there is a devotee of Krishna. She immediately recommends Krishna. Oh, here is a devotee. He is better than me. This is Radharani. I may be not a devotee. I may be most fallen rascal. But if I try to reach Krishna through Radharani, then my business is successful. Therefore, we should worship Radharani first. That is our business. Instead of offering directly one flower to Krishna, you just put it in the hands of Radharani. Oh, my mother Radharani, Jagat Mata, if you kindly take this flower and offer it to Krishna. Oh, Radharani says, oh, you have brought a flower. Krishna said, Patram pushpam phalam thoyam ye me bhaktya pranachanti. But don't try to offer Krishna directly. Just offer through Radharani. It will be very much appreciated by Radharani. Lecture on Bhagavad Gita, 1805, London, September 5th, 1973. So this is what Prabhupada is in the lecture. He's saying that taking shelter and taking mercy from Radharani is very important for the devotees, because Radharani is most merciful, and she brings us to Krishna. She goes to Krishna and says, here this devotee, he's so nice, he's serving so seriously, please take care of him. And so when Radharani says, then Krishna has to, has to fulfill her desire. No? Like Prabhupada, no? Prabhupada, when he came, he prayed to Radha Krishna that my dear, my devotees, they are very, they don't know so much to worship you. Please be merciful to them and give your mercy. So when the pure devotee says, Krishna always is ready. He said, yes, my devotee, I will do that. So that's why Prabhupada brought Krishna from Vrindavan, and he brought all over the world. No, Prabhupada, he's so kind and so much mercy. He had compassion towards the material world and towards the conditional souls. Said he came, he was 70 years old and he crossed the ocean. Usually in India, sadhus, they don't come out, especially from Vrindavan, they will not come to Western countries and perform all this service for the welfare of the conditional souls, to bring them back to Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada did it. He had quite difficult times to start the movement, but he had faith in his spiritual master. His spiritual master said, whenever you have little money, or preach in Western countries. So he took these instructions in his heart. And at that time he was young man, he was married, so it didn't happen, he could not do immediately, but he kept these instructions of his spiritual master in his heart, and he would just wait for the time that he can fulfill the desire of his spiritual master. And because of his meditation, because of his pure love to his spiritual master, Krishna arranged all these facilities for Srila Prabhupada. And who can carry Prabhupada? Who can carry Krishna? Only pure devotee. Krishna is heavy. Krishna is Krishna. You cannot just bring Krishna like that. Krishna comes through his pure devotee, and pure devotee said, "Please come with me." And Krishna said, "Yes, I will come with you, and you don't worry. Everything will be arranged." No? And Prabhupada, you all know, he had a heart attack in the boat, and Krishna came. He was massaging his heart, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm the captain of your boat." So this was the love and devotion what Krishna has towards Srila Prabhupada. And so we are so fortunate to be here, sitting here and hearing Radharani's have nice darshan, beautiful throne, and Radharani's sitting on the throne and meet Krishna. And yes, so today we'll have nice whole day programs, and 4 o'clock there is Abhishek of the divine couple, and then we'll have nice katha, more katha. Now Atmaram Prabhu will come and continue the katha of Srimati Radharani. So thank you for allowing me to speak a little bit about Radharani, and so thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Narahari Mataji ki jai. Radhastami Maha Mahotsava ki jai. So Atmaram will come in 1 second, and he will give a very nice lecture also on Jiva Goswami's Madhava. I forgot. Madhava Mahotsava. So we're looking forward to hear from Atmaram Prabhu.
This is very nice book, Rajamandal Darshan by Lokanath Maharaj. So I took some stories from here.
I was supposed to sit in the chair as well, no? It's not proper. Vishnu Paraya Krishna Presta Patlashim Gopal Krishna Kasam Taramne Prabhupada Sasaita Myaprakasa Dirsha Prajam Kitan Sadhu Bhagavad Nama. Following the footsteps of senior devotees, I'm a little bit of a hesitant to speak about subject of Radharani, since this is the extremely secret topic, and we can see that just from looking at our own spiritual tradition, that the worship of the Rani has come from the universal perspective, very recently. How come? Since, if you remember, even in the times of Lord Chaitanya, Goswamis of Vrindavan, they discovered their deities, and it was Krishna alone. Right? Even the famous Radharamana deity, self-manifest, he manifested alone, without Radharani. So Radharani was later installed. And yes, the Supreme Lord, as a Lord of everything, has been in Vaishnava tradition since time immemorial, since creation, and there's paramparas following this. But the topic of Radharani came practically with Lord Chaitanya, and even later, during his time, he himself introduced worship to the single deities. It's so unusual, interesting, but it's true. As far as I know, according to my limited knowledge, even deity was given to Gadadhar Pandit, was Tota Gopinath, he was alone, Krishna. But later on, it was started by Jahnavi Mata. Of course, ladies, they prefer ladies. And Jahnavi Mata, the wife of Lord Nityananda, she was the first introduce the worshipping of Radha Krishna together. Again, it was coming in a deity worship not as prominent, and times of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisant Saraswati, that was quite interesting. The worship was happening together, Radha Krishna and Chaitanya, so there was three of them. Yeah, you can confirm. In Mayapur, there's quite a few altars like that, especially Gaudiya Math. But the principle which has been introduced, definitely from Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is quite esoteric and important, since Krishna, as a supreme person, is explained to be the one person. It's not like double, triple. One person. He's one source. There's not 2, 3, 5 sources. There's one source. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, Ishvara Parama Krishna. These are the main verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, or Ete Chamsha Kalapam Sa, Krishna's tu Bhagavan. Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti, Brahma Samhita, so on. But the question is of importance. I'm just a little bit starting with a philosophy. The importance of the same person is one, or Brahman is one, or Krishna is one, but how he expands, how he actually is present in his energies. So there's many energies, and material energies, and spiritual ones, but when we talk about the Supreme, most fully representing his potency of joy and bliss, which he is actually residing all the time, then it comes to Radha. And Radha is also not only his bliss potency as such, but also by the name she knows as one who is worshipping Krishna in the best way. So when we talk about the Vrindavan pastimes on this planet and this earth, we have to remember that those things kind of gradually appeared. And there's a nice story when Krishna, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, according to his own promise in the scriptures, he's supposed to come. He comes in every yuga in different colors. And he said, well, for me, it's time to go to earth for some while. And Radharani, she was pretty kind of not happy with that, since her name is that her essence is she never leaves the company of Krishna. So that means she has to go with him, but she cannot go alone. So she said, okay, as I'm your eternal companion, I should go with you. For sure, I want to go with you, but we have to take with us the most important things for our pastimes and service and so on. Who would say 3 things which are most important in Krishna's pastimes? Sorry? Gordon, yes, exactly the one. 2 more. Yamuna, second one, and Vrindavan forest as such. So these 3 things, he said that without those things, I'm not going to leave. You can go wherever you want. I'm not going. So the Krishna, of course, we will take those things with us. So therefore, interesting enough, when Krishna was a very, very small baby, I cannot say how it fits together with the previous story when Radharani was still not opening her eyes. But when the Kamsa's harassment came a little bit of the culmination, they had to move. And they moved to some different area, which was Gokula, as far as I remember, right? They were before in Madhura's area. You know the story. Nandagram, right? No, Nandagram, exactly. Sorry. Yes, and they went some other place, a little bit more like a hiding place. So the spies and the demons, they cannot harass small Krishna. Anyways, the Kamsa spies were all the time, everywhere, but they were not so visible and not so harassed. Anyways, when they were trying to move to that place, they took almost a whole day to travel. They arrived in evening time, and they were so tired from the traveling that most of the gopas, they just fell asleep on the rath carts. And, well, most ladies in rath carts and the bare ground and everything. And they just said, okay, this is the place very nice to stay. We'll take rest and let's see what arrangements we can do tomorrow. Meanwhile, fulfilling the desire of Krishna, Vishwakarma came. You know who's Vishwakarma? Architect, yeah, universal architect. And he perceived inspiration in his mind, which came from Krishna. Krishna was sleeping. He was a small boy. He was just a baby that time. But he was already had the vision how everything is going to happen. So Vishwakarma perceived the whole vision of heavenly, eternal heavenly abode, how it looks like. And he was inspired by Krishna to create something similar. So while all the Brajabasis were sleeping, Vishwakarma invited all his friends and possible builders and demigods possible. They brought from heavenly planet everything possible, all the corals, all the jewels, all the piles of sandalwood, everything needed for the construction of this beautiful place, Vrindavan. And they started with the houses. They started the houses, and every house were made for particularly for every family of the Brajabasis. So they were building the houses, and each of the house had doors of sandalwood and floors of marble. For us, it's kind of a little bit of a strange. We don't hear such an opulence of Vrindavan, but it is true that the Vrindavan, as it was explained later, were created much more amazing and beautiful than the same Dvarka, which also was created by Vishwakarma, but he couldn't do anything as amazing as before. So when he was creating all the 1,108 palaces, whatever it is, he couldn't do it anymore. Not like he was exhausted. He didn't get this same inspiration from Krishna, because Krishna's mind expanded in his heart, same like Brahma, inspired from inside. So he was creating a whole thing. And besides the houses, also he created many, many kundas and the ways between and the trees and vines and everything. And some of them were just amazing. Some vines were going green emerald vines around the yellow, golden sapphire trees. Just imagine that. Or opposite, there was some ruby flowers, on the background with the white leaves of some trees, and so just all these things. But they were alive. So for us, it's difficult to imagine how the jewel-like trees can be alive. Anyways, the whole creation happened, and the morning was coming, and they fastly, whatever leftovers there was, they were collecting them and bringing back to heavenly planets. And when all the Brajavasis woke up, everything was clean and done and everything. And every house had a name on it, This is the house for Nandamara, this is house for this Gopa, this is house for those Gopis, and like this. So they were completely amazed, and they took a whole day along. They were traveling all from one place to other place, and said, "Oh, this is your house." And everybody's going inside and looking beautiful, and they're like, "Okay, let's go to next house." And everybody goes to that house, and they, "Okay, that's your house. Oh, what's different here? What's so nice here?" So at the end of the day, finally, at the evening, Nanda Maharaj, he got this house, and everything was so beautifully set up. So this is the Vrindavan as such, expanding from the spiritual world. Unfortunately, that thing which we see now in Vrindavan is far away from the whole thing. And as far as I remember, the story goes also a little bit of Parikshit Maharaj's grandson, Raghunath. He was given, in charge. He became a king of Vrindavan. When he arrived there, when Krishna left, there was nothing there. There was just dust, nothing there. And he was, "What do you mean? I'm king here. There's nothing left. What kind of Vrindavan is? What kind of spiritual abode it is?" And who was that Muni? He gave him spiritual vision. He said, "Nothing. It just looks outside. Actually, everything happens here." And he was given the vision, and he saw all these villages and all the Rajabasis going on cows and everything and trees, and he said, "Yes, it's fine. Doesn't matter." So when we currently visit the Vrindavan, we don't see the thing, but Prabhupada was teaching us to have this spiritual vision. And therefore, also Lord Chaitanya introduced all these holy places being re-established. And they were going around and they were meditating, what was here, what is here? And they were building temples and digging all the kundas and stuff like that. So when the whole small Krishnas and Radharani's pastimes started in very, very young age, there's a... which story would start with? Small children plays. Yes, one thing which completely stuck in my mind, we have a Gandharvika Giridhari here, and the pastime of lifting Govardhan is pretty familiar for us. But when Krishna was small, it is told that he was a couple of years old and he was already training. He went around and the pasture grounds where the cows were going there, and he was getting his hands into the ant hills, small ants, and he was like already, I'm gonna lift it up. I don't know how ants didn't bite him. Oh, it's Vrindavan, Nobody would bite Krishna, but he was already training up for lifting up Govardhan. So he was picking up small ant hills and stones and like that. So of course, the rasa of parents, they're not believing. Many demons were killed by Krishna later on, and it said by Prabhupada, he was usually just killing a couple of demons before lunch, just for fun. But his parents never believed that happened, actually. He said, well, as far as I know, that's Mother Yashoda was saying, I think Nanda Maharaj, he was one who was lifting Govardhan, and Krishna was just there to show his hand like this. Jumping a little bit further, since although it is said by scriptures the pastimes of Radha Krishna in a very, very young childhood age are extremely unique, for the main reason that they are never actually being exhibited in the spiritual world. And that's a pretty interesting stuff, since there is some pastimes which are never happening in the spiritual world. Do you agree or not? It is possible something happening in the material world, not happening in the spiritual world?
It's also spiritual world, but within the material world.
Acha. It's tricky. Yes, when Krishna comes to this earth, it is a quite of unusual situation. Then in that place, it's like tirtha. I think I told in one of the lectures that tirtha, it is mentioned in a Sanskrit translation, it is a river. When it's flowing, it has a shallow place where you can cross it. It's like in this, white water, just rivers deep, and most of somehow, I don't know how many Indians and Bengalis can swim. I know Krishna was swimming, and Chaitanya was definitely swimming. They had a pastime and were chasing each other, and then when they were getting overwhelmed, beaten by some village guys, they would just fastly swim across the Ganga, another side, and a safety, and then it was just like, okay, stay there. So this pastimes of where did I stop it? I just get carried away by a thing. Oh, Krishna. What was I talking about? I lost the thread.
Children's pastimes?
Children's pastimes, yeah, but later on. Yeah, so many things, because I was trying to squeeze 20 minutes in and listen to the classes by Nirumna Swami, and there's so many pastimes just sticking in my mind. Okay, a little bit later on. The pastimes which came to my mind was one of those which were kind of Krishna growing up a little bit already, and one of the things which has to be in a pastimes of Radha Krishna are some impediments, some problems which usually arise, which makes the meeting of Radha and Krishna very sweet and very relishable. And one of the main impediments are, of course, the demons, but there's inner impediments which coming from the marriage situation of Radharani and also the relatives. The famous two characters is Kotila and Chotila. They are the mother and the sister of Abhimanyu, who is a so-called husband of Radharani. Of course, the nice scriptures explain that Abhimanyu is a kind of a shadow of Krishna, but still, for the pleasure of the pastimes, so those things happen to be with some problematic things on the all the way, this has to be there. So one day, when Krishna was traveling with his cowboys, suddenly he came across one very, very excited Brajavasi, and he said, "Well, I'm very happy today, and I'm extremely blissful." So Krishna was wondering, what happened, why you're so happy? He said, "I just came from a big, huge festival." What was the festival? That was marriage festival. And I have so many nice sweets I can share with you. And Krishna said, "Oh yeah, right, it looks nice." And he was trying to eat one. And while he was biting, he was at who get married, "Oh yeah, you didn't know. There was festival yesterday. I still in ecstasy. Radharani got married to Abhimanyu." And he was Krishna was spitting his ladu out, what? I didn't know that. So that arrangement happened without his knowledge. Of course, the other part of the whole thing that before marriage, Radharani was crying. Said, "No, how can I do that? How can I do that?" And Purnamasi said, "No, that's okay. It should be there." And until Krishna arrived in a dream of Radharani and confirmed that said, "This is nothing wrong. That's me." And he expanded himself as Abhimanyu, such a way. But many, many pastimes happened there. So when Radharani was born, she was born in Varshana, in Vrishabhanu. She was Vrishabhanu daughter. So Varshana is a place where she was born, and many of those devotees who serve Shilas, they sometimes take the stone from Varshana, from that hill. So there's Govardhana hill, and there's Shilas from there, and if you want to worship Radha Krishna, not Krishna Balaram. Krishna Balaram is 2 stones from Govardhana. So you can have Govardhana Shila, and you can have also some small stone from birthplace of Radharani, and you put it next to it, and there'll be small Radha Krishna Shilas like this. So that place was, of course, very nice and worshipable, and still there's all gopis around that place living, but she had to move. So Radharani moved as proper wife. She moved to the place where the husband lives, and that's how the place called Yavat. So Yavat is a place where Abhimanyu lives. And still, when you live far away, Radharani was every morning just woke up and she was meditating and she's looking in Nandagram. Why she was looking in Nandagram? Because Krishna was living there. And she had to go. She had to go for cooking every day. So she was waiting every day. And there's an interesting story that she was worshipped by all the gopas and gopis, servants of her, and dressed 10 times a day. We are worshipping our deities and we are doing 2 times a day. It's okay. Radharani was dressed 10 times a day. And just before waking up, somebody just put it like properly, and then she wakes up, she gets, and then a bath, and there's a breakfast, and then she has to change again, then new dress for going to Krishna, cooking, and then a noon bath, and then after a bath again, and an evening before meeting Krishna, and an evening night bath, and then after a bath again. So 10 times a day she was dressed by the... then Krishna was actually most expert of dressing. So Sringara, there's many places in the Vrindavan coast. So Sringarvat, Sringar place, and this and that. And in Avatun, she was there many times. Mother Yashoda, she was happy. She was extremely happy with the cooking because she knew she has a blessing. She has a blessing from Durvasa Muni about her cooking being so good that everyone who eats that will be long life and healthy and everything possible, all the blessings. So sometimes happened, Mother Yashoda, she was sending some gifts to the Radha, and one day she collected a big box of the gifts. And there was jewelry inside and nice silk saris and some spices and everything possible the young girl needs for cooking, for dressing, for personal use and so on. And Krishna saying, Yashoda Mata, what are you doing here? So I'm preparing gifts and I'm sending to Yavat. Really? And who are you sending to? To Chotila, Kotila? No. I'm sending Radharani. She's cooking here every day for you. She deserves some nice presents. Oh, really? That's interesting. And somehow Krishna had some very, very strange idea. He said, well, I think, Mother Yashoda, there is some urgent business for you to attend now in a courtyard. And while she was running away for the business, Krishna took all the jewels out and he jumped inside himself. He jumped inside himself and he said, well, I want to visit Radharani. Okay, Mother Yashoda comes back and she says, well, the gifts are ready, let's send them. Who is going to carry? I think we should invite Abhimanyu himself, the husband of Radharani. Let's come. And yes, he was messaged, he came here and said, well, this is present for your Radharani. Please tell her that this contents of this box is very, very pleasant. And you should enjoy that and content in that box in full satisfaction. And he said, yes, very good message, I'll do that. And he was carrying around, and he felt, wow, that box very heavy, that must be really, really nice presents and jewels. My Radharani will be very, very happy to receive it. And she was very inspired, he was really jumping and going, Yavat back. And of course, meanwhile, what happens, there's some stories coming to the Kotila and Chotila. And somehow, some of the messengers from Purnamasi, they arrived and said, I think your wife, your sister, Krishna, daughter-in-law, the wife of your son, she is not very well behaving. I saw her going in the midday in some strange place with the friends, and I think she's meeting Krishna. And he is well known of meeting girls who are unmarried. But you see your wife is married, so she has been chaste. But still Krishna is involved. So Chotila decided, I think we should stop that whole business and we will ground Radharani for 3 days. She's not allowed to go anywhere for next 3 days. And Radharani, of course, she was very, very unhappy. So she couldn't go cook even. What to speak of forest or nighttime or anywhere. She was put the guards in the doors and everything. What to do? So then finally, what comes? Abhimanyu comes with a box, and said, Radharani, this is for you. And a very, very important message coming from Yashoda. And contents of this box should be enjoyed in full satisfaction. So I leave it with you. I cannot do it. Who knows? There's some lady stuff inside. And he left. And for amazing stuff, when Radharani says, well, it must be really important thing, she opens up and jumps out Krishna. Like that. And of course they were very surprised, and of course even more extremely happy, because she's grounded for 3 days. She's not allowed to go anywhere outside the room for 3 days. And now Krishna is here. But, like proper ladies, not supposed to show. So I said, who is that boy? Who is him? I think while my husband was carrying those things, this rascal, he attacked him. He stole all his jewelry and jumped himself inside. No, this is not good. Of course, all this talking was going on and on. But finally, of course, the meeting was very, very nice. So this is one of the stories told by 6 Goswamis. One other story is interesting, which is connected to Kamsa, as I told. Kamsa was very keen of harassing all the inhabitants in Vrindavan, especially Krishna, And Kamsa, interesting enough, he was quite the Krishna conscious. You know why he was Krishna conscious? No.
He was always
He was fear of Krishna. He was so afraid of death. And because it was predicted that Krishna will be the end of his life, he will be one who will be killing him, he was thinking of that all the time. Because he was afraid, he was thinking of Krishna all the time. So from one point of view, probably, I would say he was remembering Krishna more than any one of us. But still, he's never given an example of Krishna conscious development. So it has to be favorable to Krishna. But anyways, one time, as far as I remember, I think it was Keshi. He was not sent yet to be harassing and killing anyone, but Keshi came back as a spy. And now those demons, they can shape shift, they can go around in different places and change the, Putana, she was witch, but she appeared very beautiful. So also all the demons, they could make shape-shifting as animals and stuff like that. Even the trees could do. There was one famous tree was standing in I think it was courtyard of Nandagram, and it was just a bakula tree, flowering bakula tree. But it is told that sometimes he took a shape of a lotus. The tree could, the wish-fulfilling tree, even trees could make shape-shifting. So this is amazing. Anyways, and Akeshi came back from Vrindavan. He said, well, I saw Krishna and he looks pretty innocent and small boy, but I saw some other thing. There's nice, pretty girls there. And I think they are pretty good for you, And all these demons are really lusty. They really think of, same as Ravana, he was thinking of stealing Sita Devi, so exactly the same idea came to Kamsa. The demons make same mistakes usually. So he said, oh, I think I should go myself. Look at those girls. And Kamsa really went. And of course, all the spies told where the best girls are. And they were all around the Radharani's place. In that time she was living in Yavat. But in Yavat, in a courtyard of Yavat, there's one kund called Kishori Kund. And that Kishori Kund is amazing. She had very, very sweet water. And all the surrounding villages and gopis, they came here for the water in that place. And it is said that there's a wish-fulfilling tree, but this kunda, this place, was also wish-fulfilling. So everyone who was drinking the water of that place, they were also fulfilled their desires. And somehow, Kamsa came across to that place too. So when he came there, by a yogamized arrangement, he felt very, very strong thirst. And he said, well, I have to drink from here. And straight away, when he put his hand inside in the mouth, he looked at his hand. It became very gracious, very nice, featured. And there was the rings, and there was the bracelets, and everything was like, this woman's hand, What was happening? And then he looked at the water. There was no mirrors around. He looked at water, and there was a woman's face. He turned into a woman. He turned into the gopi. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And he turned, and then he started to scream, help, help, help. And some girls came here and said, well, what's going on? Why are you yelping help? I am a Kamsa, I'm a king. And I'm a girl now. And no, you're just making jokes. All the gopis, they have these jokes, they're playing around. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, of course, you're Kamsa, yeah. And like, well, no, it's true, And okay, well, we have some ladies who are a little bit of not in witchcraft, but they're a little bit of magic stuff. They know how to see things through and help in case of need. Let's go to Lalita. She's in Vishaka also. She's a little bit of a magic stuff knowing. Let's go to her. So they went, brought the nice screaming gopi to them, and really Lalita looks at her. Really, you are Kamsa. what happened to you? And I was, well, what happened? I was drank from this Kishori Kund and I became a gopi. How can I rule a kingdom? I'm supposed to be a demon. I'm supposed to roll around. I'm supposed to be an army, and I'm the girl now. How am I going to do that? And he was so disturbed. He said, well, I think we can help you, but you have to pay a price. Well, anything you do. You sure? You promise? Anything now. What anything? Yes, I will do anything you want me to do. Okay. We can make you back to your original form, but you have to promise that you will not come yourself or send your demons to Vrindavan anymore. Yes, sure. Just turn me back to the camps. So, by the grace of gopis, he was directed again back to the same Kishori Kund, and he drank again, and he turned, and he went running until he was out of Vrindavan. So this story is told by, I cannot say exactly it's but it's definitely coming from Sri Ramaswami book, this now Raja Mahima. What else interesting? You have more time? Okay. One of the things which I was a little bit of listening, it is this Madhava Mahotsava, and this is an amazing book. Although it's not big, it's just 80 pages, but it is a story about how Radharani was made the queen of Vrindavan, and she was bathed, amazingly enough. So the story starts with a thing that Chandravali, and we know Chandravali is a rivalry of Radharani. She has a kind of opposite mentality. So this is a left wing and right wing. So which one is which? Who knows?
Radharani's left.
Left wing. And Chandravali is the right wing. So right wing is usually have very, very humble and devotional mentality. And it seems to be nothing wrong. Because Chandravali, she thinks I'm really, really serving Krishna and try to please him possible, but usually as in a serving mode. Radharani is left wing. They are a little bit more kind of hot-tempered, hot-tempered, and sometimes they get carried away and they speak harshly with Krishna. And as once Bhaktivedanta Swami said, sometimes they tell, okay, get lost and jump off that bridge, and Krishna has to do what to do. So they are a little behaving different, but still the inner mood is even more devotional because they want to please Krishna. They know he wants to also sometimes be playful in the different ways, so therefore they are behaving differently. But still, Chandravali, she was very humble, and somehow one day with a Padma, one of the friends, they were picking flowers, and they're talking and this and that. And they said, well, we are picking these flowers, but many people say in this place that this place belongs to Vrinda. This is not good. We want to serve Krishna. We want to have best flowers for him, but we cannot go anywhere. This belongs to Vrinda, and that's Radha's garden, and many places. I think we should kind of change the situation. And they came up with the idea that they should make Chandravali the queen of Vrindavan. And they had a whole story. They put the whole thing together, and they even came to Krishna. And Krishna said, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, why not? Yeah. It's cool with me. He didn't take seriously, of course, but somehow the news that Krishna agreed to coronate Chandravali came to Radharani. And she was in extreme anxiety. She was like, what? Not because she was, in our sense, she was jealous or something. She understood she is the best. And everybody knows she's the best. But somehow she heard that Krishna is willing to coronate Chandravali, and she was so furious. Like, it's impossible. It cannot be like that. And then he said, no. No. And while she was hearing these news, another messenger of Purnamasi came. There was also some Chandravali's friend. And she came to Yavat and saying, there is some other news going on. There is some other plot coming on. Somebody is trying to make Radharani a queen of Vrindavan. But that's not the bad news. The Krishna is going to be there. And Chatila was like, really? I know the character of Krishna. That cannot be. Therefore, let's stop the whole thing in the very beginning. So usually these stories have to be like a little bit of a crooked start, it cannot be like so easy. So she was prohibited to go there. And Kotila said, even more, go to all the gopas and say, this ceremony will never happen. Even before it started, Anyways, but Lalita, she understood, no, this is Radharani's desire, and probably if Radharani wants, she actually knows what Krishna wants. So therefore, we should make the coronation. And coronation means very, very pompous, very wide, very wealthy environments, all this stuff that happens. And that whole arrangement, it took a while to prepare. But while the whole thing were prepared, even the before thing, there is one day before, it's called Adivas. The ceremony before, sometimes we have also, before Nrsimhadev, we had Adivas, day before Nrsimhadev appearance. So the whole arrangement took even the whole day. Like we do all the arrangements the day before there was Adivas. And that day she was dressed very nicely. The procession was made very nicely. All demigoddesses came, gave a dress, gave a bath and stuff like that. But the main ceremony was even more amazing. It is said it was having 9 different baths. And each of the baths were made by different pots. Somebody who knows astrology, there's 9 different planets. The Navaratna ring, who is a little bit of a jewelry crafter or astrologer. That 9 stones. We dress also on the Nrsimhadev in different colors. Also we have a 7, but 7 colors usually it is as a weekdays. So who knows which color is for Sunday?
Yellow.
Really? Are you sure? Red. Ruby red. Sun is yellow, but in any astrology, ruby and the red color is a color of the Sunday, sun. I was also thinking. The yellow, it is true, but it is for Jupiter, and it's Thursday. Yellow sapphire. The moon day, what is moon? Chandra. And it's ruling the waters. And therefore it's pearl. Monday is a pearl, right? So Tuesday, what is Tuesday? Today is Tuesday, right? What color is today? Orange, because the stone is coral. But can be also red, because it's Mars. So Mars is red, but the color and the stone is orange, which is somehow interestingly enough in deep waters, coral. Wednesday, what's Wednesday? Green. Emerald, yes. Mercury, communications, green stuff. Thursday we already had, it's a Jupiter, yellow color. Friday is Venus, Shukra, and therefore it's diamond. And diamond have different colors. Diamond, when the color comes, it goes different, the full rainbow. Therefore can be any color, or white color, or diamond. Saturday is who? Saturn. And Saturn is blue sapphire. So therefore, usually Saturday, or either black. Saturn itself is kind of an old guy, like grayish, like each other. So all those 9 baths were given by according to this planets, but there's 2 more. We got a 7. Where's 2 more coming? Rahu Ketu. What's their stones? Aha. Cat's eye for Ketu and Gomed or Hasonite for Rahu. I was in one of the trips in Italy, and in a main square in this Venice, place where on the water. It's a very expensive place, you know. The beer costs €7. You know, those you know who to compare. But anyway, I went to one shop, and there was this shop with jewelry, and they had one ring, and that ring was copy of the ring used to have like in the Middle Ages from some king, and they, to protect themselves from poison, they used this Hasonite. Granite. It's granite. You know, in Slovenia they have this pinkish like a violet. You know, like wine granite. You know, you see small things like here. They saw it everywhere. So, but the bigger stone, the bigger protection. So if you are king and somebody tries to poison you, you have this ring, and you take the wine cup. The ring the stone just cracks, you know, because all the proper stones are living beings. Not to speak with spiritual world where everything is personified. Even this world, all the proper original stones are living beings. So they are grown up and they react. You know, you are owner. You know, if you're a dog, it's your dog. It protects you. If it's your stone, it protects you. And the Hasonite is well known for the protecting. So many kings were it, and that thing was in the middle, the big Hasonite, and around were different like rainbow granites, and I think it was like costing €20,000 one ring like this. Very beautiful. So all those things which were bathed by Radharani, those 9 baths, each of them had a different pot, and one of the pots were made completely of the sapphire. Yellow sapphire. Of course, some scriptures say there was pot with a sapphire. Some other scriptures said it was the whole pot, just huge, big sapphire with a thing inside. And also the water was amazing. The water was amazing since we know, for example, the story of Radhakund. You know the Radhakund story, how the whole waters came up around. Since Krishna said, "Oh, I don't have to go and bathe, although I killed this demon in a shape of bull." Was Aristasura. So still, I'll bathe in these waters. And Gopi said, "Well, there's water coming. We don't believe in it. You say it's waters. You know, we don't believe it." And out of that water which appeared, all the holy river personified came out. So exactly the same thing happened there. When Ganges and Yamuna, they appeared opposite. They appeared first, and from the hand, the water came out. And they were putting all together. And all the other deities, all the Prayagas, all the things, all the holy places, all the kundas from whole universe came there. And they put the water. And it became like a milky golden color. And they put that water in each of those big jugs from sapphire, from the things they're pouring. And every time when you pour, the description was amazing. Without reading, it's impossible to describe. Every time, for example, when they poured like this, there was like a rivers of... Radharani's face was looking as a golden wine, a golden creeper, and the water was going down, looked like a continuous pearl, strings of pearls, like this. Jiva Goswami explains so nicely. So I cannot repeat all things, but anything possible to describe in poetry that was there. So when finally that bathing was done, also Krishna actually was invited. And Krishna was so ecstatic, but you see, since he was invited and all the people around were, he was a little bit hesitant because he wanted to look at all this coronation and Abhishek ceremony, But he could not, because then he was noticed. All these emotions of divine couple, they will be noticed. And therefore, he was hesitant. He was supposed to be showing like, okay, this is just a ceremony, like the official, you know. Oh, you see queen and king and stuff like that. And one of these gopas said, no, don't worry. They are all the people, so absorbed in beauty and the ceremony of Radharani, nobody looks at you even. Nobody looks at you. She's so beautiful, she's amazing. Just look at, no worry, just look at all the time. No problem. So all these ceremonies are beautiful. And this is one of the stories. I don't know. Shall I finish? I could. One more. One short story. Yavat. Again, Yavat, and for some strange reason again, Radharani was prohibited to go out. And one of the gopas, I think, was Subal Sakha. Subal Sakha is one of those Preshta gopi. There's a different gradation of the cowherd boys and cowherd girls. There's simple ones, and then there's very important ones, and there's very close ones, and there's a Parama Preshta, the most confidential friends. You know, they are completely aware and helping in most intimate pastimes. So this Subal Sakha was one of these Param Preshta cowherd boys, and he looked in his complexion very goldenish, you know. Some say that his brother Radharani, Subal, who was brother? Subal? Sudam, sorry, Sudam. Sudama, he also looked a golden color, same as Radharani. But he was not only one. So this Subal Sakha he was milky, goldenish color. He looked quite exactly like Radharani. He said, I have an idea. I will go to Yavat and pretend that I have lost a calf. And I'll meet Radharani and make some plan how to escape. Okay, here you go. He goes to Yavat, and what do you think you meet first? Straight away you meet Kotila. Oh, Subal Gopa, how is it going? What are you doing here? You never come here. What is your plan? You know, I know you are friends of Krishna. I think you have some funny ideas, but I don't do. Oh, and he was like, oh, you know, I lost my calf. And he was like small boy, you know, 12 years. And he was crying, you know, Krishna gave me 5 calves to grease, and one of them is lost. And what to do? You know, I hear it's here. And he was crying, you know, like all women, you know, see the children crying. Her heart was starting melting and this and that. And the story goes interesting that Indadumna Swami, when he was telling this story, he said, when I was a married person, similar happens to me too, you know. And one time, my wife wanted to do something, and she was starting to cry. You know, so I really cry, and I had to do nothing. I was, you know, without weapons, and I couldn't do anything. So, yes, of course. And then she started to laugh and said, you know, the woman's crying is the ultimate weapon, you know. And he was like, really, thank you for giving up your secrets. So, yeah, if you want to achieve something, you know, you have to cry. For man, usually never works, but if you really, a man starts to cry, probably it will work out too. Anyways, he was, a small gopa was saying, yeah, I lost my calf, you know. And I said, yeah, okay. I think I saw some calf running around here, just look. And she said, and she went away. And what do you think? He goes straight away to Radharani's headquarters and said, and Radharani, she not like usually like, oh man coming, you know, like, but no, she knew he's a very close friend to Krishna. So if he comes here, must be something important. He said, well, I have a plan. I have a plan that I will stay here, but you will dress as me. We will change the dress around, and you will go out, and you go meet to Krishna. And meanwhile, I was still here. And Radharani said, yes, it sounds very good plan, but you know, there's one problem. we look different. How do you look? Well, same color, exactly, no problem. No. You are the boy and I'm a girl, there's some certain features which we cannot hide, And said, no, I have better plan. You will have a shawl, like a thing, like a small chadar, and you put it around the chadar and hold like this and say, I'm holding the calf. In such a way you go out, in such a way your womanly features will not be seen, And I said, that might work out. And Radha said, okay, let's do that. And they exchanged the clothes, and she dressed as a coward boy and put some chadar on top of it, and it goes out. And what do you think she meets again? A Katila. And she's like, okay, did you find your calf? And Radharani, she understands, she has to speak. And she did, yes, I found it. Trying to make a man's voice. Yes, I found a calf. But still, I can hear the lady's voice. What happened to you? Your voice changed. Oh, well, I was running around, I got cold, like this, Okay, sure, no problem, yeah. And he just carried nothing. There was nothing there. There was no calf, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm carrying. Such a way she went away. So this is the way it happens in Yavat all day out and day in. So let's stop here for now. Shishi Radhastami Mahotsava ki jai, Shishi Gandharvit Giridharika, Shil Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Atmaram Prabhu ki jai.
We should wait for Nandimukhi to come, no?